part of the session. If we could advance the slide. Well, so what we are here to talk to you about tonight, and the slides will catch up with us, is the Addison Station property located just across the street. We're going to speak more about it, but before we do, I'd like to take a moment to introduce the team. I'm Allie O'Neill. I'm with Vita Nuova. We are consultants working on a team with GDIT. Matt Plackey's here from them tonight.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Plackey. I'm with GDIT. We are a technical assistance provider for EPA's Brownfields program, and we work around the country on projects like this and with EPA Region 3 to assess the property and figure out best path forward for redevelopment. So.
I'm Michael McDonald. I'm with EPA Region 3. I'm a project officer in the Brownfields Division and been working on assessing the property for the past year under our targeted Brownfields assessment program. And we'll be continuing to work with them as we look to redevelop the property.
And my name is Craig Milburn, and I also work with Vita Nuova, and I work with Allie. I'll be working with her tonight on the interactive workshop and really trying to solicit community input on some preferred uses on the property. So just wanted to introduce myself. Thanks for hosting us tonight.
Are we able to get the slides back up, do we think?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, excellent.
There we go.
All right. And so we can advance to the next slide, please.
I'm not doing it, they're doing it. No, no. It's not coming up. It's on this screen behind it.
We can see the slides on our board docs.
I know. Yeah, they were trying to put it up on the screen for the audience.
Yeah, but one at a time.
Okay. So I can try to walk us through, but I actually can't see the deck. So that's a bit of my challenge. Do you have them up by any chance to Sean?
So
Would you like
I
to use my
have them.
iPad?
Have to give me a suggestion.
Do you mind? Are you sure?
We can
Thank
split
you.
it.
You can use mine.
Amazing. Thank you for that problem solving. Okay. Okay. All right.
Ingenuity. I love to see it.
We'd love to see.
It's small anyway.
Oh, thank you. All right, so we've introduced you to the team, and we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the scope of work for the site. So again, our work has been to come out and visit the site. We did a walk, very much appreciated the conversations we had and the ability to kind of come around, see Seat Pleasant, see the site, see the area, see what's possible. In addition to that, we've interviewed key stakeholders. We've talked with Maryland National Capital Park and Planning. We've talked to the Capital Market. We spoke with Ms. Kim Rim at the Training Source. We've heard from Councilmember Oriata. And also with Sonia Ewing at the Parks Department. So just to get a sense of what we're hearing as well from Redevelopment Authority and the County Executive's Office, just what's going on along the Blue Line corridor, recognizing that there's a lot of change. Tonight, we're here to conduct a community workshop, and we're thrilled to bring forward some of what we've heard so far from key stakeholders, but really tonight's the night. We want to hear from community about which uses for this site feel like they're going to have the most impact on Seat Pleasant. What's going to increase livability? What's really going to impact Seat Pleasant in the way that you want to see that happen? And so we're excited to have that this evening. From there, we'll go ahead and take that information along with our market assessment and data review, and then put forth for you opportunities that exist. So we won't make recommendations. This is a project for you all to figure out how you want to move forward. It's your path to take. You are the experts of your place. But what we can lay out for you are what are kind of the trade-offs of the different options that we do see that are out there. And then from there would be a final report. And again, it now goes back to you all in your hands in terms of how it continues to move forward. And we can hop to the next slide. And so just a brief overview of our site. We're talking about approximately a 20-acre site. I'm hoping it's going to catch up with us. It's approximately a 20-acre site. We are zoned, there we are. And as again, you can see it, we are the star here. We are at City Hall, so we're talking about a property right across the street. We're within 0.3 of a mile of a metro station. It's a 7-minute walk. That feels really important in terms of thinking about the development. The site has a previous use. It was previously used as a dump site, and so we do know that this has been identified as a brownfield. And so tonight we will be talking about some opportunities that we have and other case studies that we have, how to overcome this existing condition. We also have Cabin Branch right there. We know we've got slope, we've got topography, we've got considerations with our water, and that we do have road access to Addison. And so we are considering the impact of that and thinking about how we make sure that this is right-sized, the recommendations. So we can pop ahead to the next slide. So we've already identified some opportunities. First and foremost, you all sit in an interesting position to have a lot of say in what could possibly happen with one of the last few large development sites in Seat Pleasant. 20 acres, there could be significant impact. We also know that this lot is of a size and kind of shape that we can support a mix of uses. It does not have to be choose one, we can choose several different uses. You have government agency partners here, and we've also heard from other agencies that there's a real desire to support the success of this project, and that they would be interested in understanding how partnership would look to continue to provide support moving forward. And just to say, we've already seen EPA's support because we've seen a phase 1 and a phase 2 site assessment done on the property, and we are here in technical assistance in that same program. So some possible uses we've heard, and again, we're going to talk more about this tonight, so just a preview. The notion of housing, but on kind of a house scale, on a lighter scale. So we're talking about smaller houses that are maybe on lots that are a little bit smaller, so you can get a few more units, but you're still talking about a single family, or you're talking about a duplex or maybe a 4-flat, right? So we're not talking large development, but we're talking about something that fits into the neighborhood context that we see already. We've also heard loud and clear that a career path training would be extremely valuable for residents, and so how could we look at the site as an opportunity for green jobs training, construction training? Again, we've heard some others, and we'll talk more about that tonight. But how could this site be used as a path to wealth generation and career generation? We do know that there are other uses, some of them commercial. We heard loud and clear that we had community gathering spaces, auditoriums, classrooms, but we don't have that space anymore. So could that be part of the program? A resilience and sustainability hub, knowing that preparedness, we want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for the technologies and the change that we see coming. Could this be part of that conversation? And green energy generation has been brought up as well. We'll get more into this tonight, and I do welcome everyone's ideas as we head upstairs. But we can go to the next slide. And just want to share with everyone that, yes, this site is a brownfield. That is its existing condition. But what you see on the slide behind you are other former brownfields. So Rhode Island Center in Washington, D.C., raise your hands if you've been there. Yeah? Who knew? Who knew? Did anybody? That it was a brownfield formerly? Well, we got one. Okay. But so the idea is that these are really, really productive spaces. You would not look at these sites. They have been cleaned up to levels that exactly the uses that they have on them, it's safe. And EPA can talk a little bit more about one of the examples that they have.
We can go to the next slide. Yeah, Ally asked me to talk about a specific example of a success story that we've had in Region 3, and I chose one, Union Mill Apartments in the northern, in a neighborhood in Baltimore in the northern section called Hampton. Well, Union Mill, well, I'm sure the slides will catch up, but Union Mill has a long history. It was, there's a picture from the, I think that's from the 80s, but the facility began operating in 1866 as a cotton mill. Became, when that business failed, it was vacant for about 10 years, back from 1920 to 1930, and then was again redeveloped into a manufacturing facility where they made different textiles and I think styrofoam up until about the 2000s when the property became, those businesses failed and the property became blighted. If we go to the next slide, I have some photos that show the condition of it in the early 2000s, and it had become very overgrown. There was leftover drums and waste. Those pictures on the right, see on the top, that's one of the interiors of the building. And the site on the bottom sort of reminded me of what we saw across the street, but a little bit less issues over there because we had an existing building, we had chemical uses, which really isn't a barrier that we have over across the street. So originally EPA provided $200,000 to assess the site back when the ownership was still in place, but they were not able to secure additional funding to perform the cleanup, the original owners. So what happened was they partnered with the Baltimore Development Corporation, who's a nonprofit. They were able to acquire the property from the original owner, which unlocked additional funding to perform the cleanup. So what we've been doing over across the street has been just assessment. So the private owner is able to get assessments done, but he is not able to get additional funding for cleanup, which we'll need to do to reuse the property across the street. So if we go to the next slide, I think there's an even older photo that shows that's from the 1900s. You see the road wasn't even there. But they were able to secure the funding to do additional cleanup. 400 tons of soil was removed. The contaminants we saw at that site, semi-volatile organics, volatile organics, metals, it's the same stuff that we see across the street. And these are not barriers that they need to be dealt with, but they can be overcome to put the property back into productive use. And what happened at Union Mill was they redeveloped it into a combination of apartments and meeting spaces and offices. The apartments are subsidized for teachers in Baltimore. Since Baltimore had such trouble retaining teachers, they were able to get subsidized apartments in Union Mill. And if we go to the next slide, I think I have a photo of, yeah, there it is now, redeveloped. There's a meeting space. The offices in Union Mill are subsidized to nonprofits. And I believe we've done some job training sessions in that facility now too. So it's a little bit different since there was an existing structure there and there was a little bit of a historic preservation angle that we won't have on Addison Road, but yeah, that's Union Mill in Baltimore. It was a really great success story, and I would love to see something like that happen in Seat Pleasant. Thank you.
We can hop to the next slide. All right, so just very briefly, we do have some constraints, and we've talked about them. So first and foremost, we have some topographic and regulatory limits on what can happen towards Cabin Branch, towards the water. As Michael said, cleanup will add additional cost to construction. It's part of the existing conditions. It does need to be addressed. And as Michael said, private owners do not have the same access to government support for cleanup that municipalities do. The site, it's close to Central Avenue. It's within wonderfully walkable of the metro station. It is not along Central Avenue, though, so that is something that may limit some of the retail options, just to say out loud. And then we do have naturally occurring affordable housing in Seat Pleasant that is both rental and owner occupied. And so that is just a consideration as we consider what level of housing affordability might go onto the site. So nothing that can't be overcome, but just things that are important as we consider moving forward. We can go to the next slide. And we're done. So with that, I think we'd love to answer any questions that you all have, or if you'd prefer, we can answer them and continue our conversation in the workshop. So we do very much appreciate your time. I know you came out of your way to join us because of our difficulties last time. So thank you all, and I do want to recognize that. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
But my concern is because we're doing this so that the public can actually see, because they're zooming this, are we going to still have the same capability upstairs, or that's going to be it for that?
So that is a wonderful question. I believe that upstairs we will not have it wired. That is not a hybrid meeting, so that workshop is a fully in-person meeting.
Okay.
So thank you for that question.
I can ask the additional ones upstairs.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Ball, are there any citizens that want to make a comment?
I do not have, let me check and see who's online. So we do not have any citizens online. I did not receive any citizens comment in writing, but we do have a few citizens present if they would like to speak.
Anyone, would you like to speak? Now it's time for you to make a comment or concern. Could you state your name and the ward you're in? And you have 5 minutes.
My name is Barton Wallace, and I'm in Ward 5, which I really have to find out who my ward person is. Yes, because I haven't seen. But I was wondering, they're talking about putting using this lot over here near the metro station, and I was late getting in, so I didn't catch all of it. But are they looking at what it's going to compact the neighborhood? How it's going to actually? They're putting something there that's not going to make the neighborhood worse, or are they putting something there to make the neighborhood better? Because I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, they was talking about apartments when I was walking in. They were saying something about apartments. So I'm trying to figure what kind of, are they putting the apartments there? Are they going to be low income? Are they going to be regular apartments? Just how they're going to do it that it's affect this neighborhood, because I've been here for over 30 years, and I would really like to know how they're going to affect this neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your question. There are no firm development plans. We're here to listen to your questions, hear what you're thinking about putting there. It's all about unlocking funding to get towards an end. But we don't have a plan for the development. We want to hear what you all want and find what the best use is for that property. So apartments is just one idea, but there is no firm plans yet. So part of this session tonight is listening to the community, listening to the council, and figuring out the path forward so it's used for something and not just this open space that can't even be an access for recreation.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard you say the lot across from Addison Road subway station. First of all, your ward representative is Donovan Bilbro. He's Ward 5. And not the lot that's across the street. The lot from here it will be out this window, right across. It's a open little lot there behind the houses that's facing, what's that, ADAC? And then, there's like a little, 2 single-family homes right there. So it's just an empty little space there where it's kind of like some rocks. That's the area that they're talking about over there. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's valid. I just wanted you to know exactly where it was, that's all, so you'll know exactly where it is.
There are plans for that, I believe. You're seeing some clearing of that now, but that's another facet of what's taking place with perhaps as they put that, whatever is continuation of the Blue Line corridor, perhaps, and some other things that have taken place. There's some development slated for some areas that are there and toward DC. Okay.
And those are probably outside of the Seat Pleasant RAM. That's not considered Seat Pleasant across the street there. That's actually Capitol Heights.
Unincorporated.
Greater Capitol.
That's part of the discussion. You have an opportunity to,
Council President?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just have a brief question for any of the team. What type of timeline are we looking at? I understand we haven't decided or made a decision on what type of project is gonna go over there, but what type of timeline are we possibly looking at?
Yeah, it's really hard to say without firm plans. That type of property could be cleaned up and redeveloped in a matter of 12 to 24 months, but we would need a firm plan to get on that type of timeline. So it's just difficult to say without a plan.
Are there any other citizens that'd like to speak? Okay. All right, huh? I don't know who it is. Is it? I'd like for us to recognize Councilwoman Crystal Oriata. Good evening. All right. If there are any more questions for the presenters, we'll continue their conversation upstairs on the 3rd floor. We thank you all for showing up.
Yeah, we appreciate your time.
All right. What you want to talk about? Ms. Oriata, would you like to say anything now, or would you like to speak upstairs?
I can say something now and then go upstairs. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone.
Evening.
I apologize for being late. Want to thank you guys for the work that you're doing. I had an opportunity to meet with some representatives before tonight, and they informed me of the work that all of you all have been doing and the work that you want to bring more development. And so I just want to say in front of the community that the members of the council here and the mayor have been working diligently to ensure that we have quality development coming to Seat Pleasant, and that we can do everything we can to mitigate any circumstances to allow that development to happen. And just want to echo that I will do anything I can on my end to help support the effort that you all are doing here in Seat Pleasant. Also wanted to announce that as of right now, I'm working to get $100,000 for the city towards programming, allocating our project charge allocation. I was able to allocate it last year, but there were some difficulties working with Parking Plan to get the resources. So I have it slated to be allocated again for fiscal year 2025. So we'll be reaching out to meet with representatives over the summer to work on the application to hopefully make that a smoother process next year, so that we can assist having some amazing programs here in Sea Pleasant, just to amplify the work that y'all already are doing. So again, Councilwoman Crystal Orietta, I represent District 7 here for Prince George's County Council. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. You want to meet now? 4.1, September regular session meeting dates. I guess Ms. Ball?
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The September regular work session falls on a holiday, which is Labor Day, which is the first Monday. So typically, and then the second Monday is the election day. So in the past, the mayor and council would combine both the regular work session and the public session on that Tuesday, which would be the 3rd this year, September the 3rd. So would like to know which way the council would like to go with the September meetings in general, both the regular and public session, I should say.
Anybody want to speak?
Do we have an idea of what's on the agenda? Like, is it a lengthy agenda? Is it, because that would determine whether or not we combine meetings or we do 2 separate days. If it's a short agenda, then I would suggest we combine meetings that Tuesday. But if it's a longer agenda, I suggest we split it up into 2 meetings and just meet on both Tuesdays instead of the Mondays.
The only problem with that, at this juncture, I don't think we would know what's on that agenda. Do we?
She would have an idea.
We do have a few proposed items for the agenda, but the work session agenda will not be a lengthy agenda, neither will the public session. So, yeah.
We can combine, and we can have the staff to not report out in totality. That just means we all have to read everything that's there, all of the, reports, so that way if we have questions, then we can ask the questions versus them having to report. That will cut us down from each one. Just have your questions already ready for whatever department head. Just a suggestion.
Or the city manager could give us the reports.
A brief synopsis is fine with me.
Okay. So combine the meetings on Tuesday, September 3rd.
I would prefer splitting, but if city manager could give a summary of every department and we got to find some way to make the meeting shorter, I'm amenable to combining the meetings.
I agree with the president.
Okay.
Because this is election day.
Okay, duly noted. Is that the consensus of yes, for the full council? Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. 5.1, legislation. Ordinance O-25-02, amendment of chapter 26, meeting, second reading.
Okay, ordinance O-2502, introduced by City Council, date introduced July 8th, 2024, first reading July 8th, 2024, second reading July 17th, 2024. An ordinance concerning Chapter 26 meetings, amendment of Chapter 26 meetings of the Code of the City of Sea Pleasant to impose discipline of rules of decorum by amending Chapter 26 meetings, Section 26-4 Code of the City of Sea Pleasant, 1994 edition as amended, whereas pursuant to Maryland Code annotated local government Code 5-2021 and the City Charter C-501A of Sea Pleasant City Charter, the Council of the City of Sea Pleasant has the power to pass all ordinances not contrary to the and laws of Maryland or the charter as it may deem necessary for the good government of the city. Whereas the city council desires to amend chapter 26 meetings code of the city of Seat Pleasant for the purpose of imposing discipline, and whereas the city council deems it is in the interest of public health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of the city of Seat Pleasant and for the good government of the city of Seat Pleasant to enact this ordinance and to take the actions as described herein. Section 1, be it ordained by the council of the city of Seat Pleasant that section 26-4 of the code of the city of Seat Pleasant 1994 edition as amended be, and it hereby is amended to read as follow. Chapter 26-4, decorum, section A, no changes. Section B, deleting the word council members, adding the word elected officials, while deleting the council is in session. The members must preserve order and decorum, and a member shall neither by conversation or otherwise delay or interrupt the proceedings or the peace of the council, nor disturb any member while speaking or refuse to obey the orders of the council president. Deleting members of the council and adding elected officials shall not leave their seats during a meeting without first obtaining the permission of the council president. Adding, if an elected official refuses to obey the reasonable orders of the council president while in session and or continues to disrupt or interrupt the meeting proceedings, the elected official will be removed from the meeting and receive the following. 1, a warning from the council president to cease from disrupting or interrupting the meeting proceedings. 2, after the first warning, the elected official will be suspended from attending the next scheduled meeting of the council by the majority vote of the remaining council members. And 3, after 3 suspensions, the elected official shall be removed in accordance with section C-310, forfeiture of office. The suspension will count as an unexcused absent. C through F have no changes. Section 2, and be it further ordained by the council of the city of Seat Pleasant that the recitals to this ordinance are incorporated herein and deemed a substantial part of this ordinance. Section 3, and be it further ordained by the council of the city of Seat Pleasant that the other ordinance or parts of the ordinance or provisions of the code of the city of Seat Pleasant 1994 edition as amended in conflict with this provision of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such inconsistency. Section 4, be it further ordained by the council of the city of Seat Pleasant that the title of this ordinance or condensed version thereof shall be deemed to be and is a fair summary of this ordinance for publication and all other purposes. Section 5, be it further ordained by the council of the city of Seat Pleasant that if any section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or portion of this ordinance is for any reason held invalid or unconstitutional by any court or competent jurisdiction, such portion shall be deemed a separate and distinct and independent provision, and such holding shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance, it being the intent of the city council that the ordinance shall stand, notwithstanding the invalidity of any section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or portion thereof. Section 6, be it further ordained by the council of the city of Seat Pleasant that the city clerk shall certify to the passage of this ordinance and cause the same, or to the extent permitted by the charter, a fair summary of the same to be published as required by law, and that this ordinance should become effective at the expiration of 20 days following the approval by the mayor or passage by the council over the mayor's veto.
You all heard reading of the ordinance -02-2502. Any questions? Oh. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Moved by Councilwoman Love, second by Councilmember Bilbro. Any questions?
Yeah, it's you all voting, so I just want to make a comment. Is that, will you allow that? If not, I will not. Go on. Continue.
Okay, Ms. Baldwin.
Online voting has been open. Motion passes 4-3.
Okay. The unfinished business announcements. Mr. Bilbro.
7.1, Ward 3, Beautiful Front Yard Competition Best Yard Award from May 1st to October 1st, 2024. 7.2, Ward 4, Beautiful Front Yard Competition Best Yard Award from June 1st to October 1st, 2024. 7.3, Ward 3, Community Picnic, Friday, July 19th, 2024. Fun and Fitness Park, 6200 Seat Pleasant Drive, Seat Pleasant, Maryland, 20743, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Rain date is Saturday, July 20th, 2024. 7.4, Ward 4 Community Ward Walk, Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. Seat Pleasant City Hall, 6301 Addison Road, Seat Pleasant, Maryland, at 6 p.m. 7.5, 2024 PALS.
That's not the location, I'm sorry. That location for the community war walk for Ward 4, what are you on?
That's at the Birchleaf Neighborhood Park.
Yes.
Correction.
801 Birchleaf Avenue.
Okay,
Right.
I'm making a correction as we speak.
Corrections, Ward 4 Community Ward Walk, 804 Birchleaf.
801.
801
Birchleaf
Birchleaf Avenue at 6 p.m. Still the same time? All right.
Yes.
6 p.m. 7.5, 2024 PAL Splash Party, Saturday, July 27th, 2024. Goodwin Park, 311 68th Place, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. 7.6, Mayor's Community Cookout, Saturday, July 27th at Seat Pleasant Park, 801 Birchleaf Avenue. Seat Pleasant or Seat Pleasant Fun and Fitness Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 7.7, Mayor's Community Cookout, Saturday, August 10th at Goodwin Park, 311 68th Place from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And last but not least, Ward 4 Community Yard Sale, Saturday, September 14th, 20.
That's wrong. The 10th is 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., but on Saturday, the 10th.
Saturday, the 10th is 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the meeting's almost over, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
7 point.
that time has been corrected,
All right, so the time is what again, Mayor Porter?
2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
The Saturday event for the 27th is 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the that's for the 20, and that's, it's July the 27th. It's a typo even on the flyer itself. And on August the 10th, it's 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, so July 27th, I'm sorry, you said 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. That time has been updated here. And then for the 10th, it is 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, I have that one. Okay.
All right. 7.8, Community 4 Community Yard Sale, Ward 4 Community Yard Sale, Saturday, September 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Rain date is Saturday, September 21st. You must have obtained the permit by emailing code enforcement at cpleasantmd.gov.
And so I just wanted to announce that even though it is a Ward 4 event happening in the Ward 4 neighborhood, others are able to join. You just would have to bring up your own setup because everybody is working out of their driveway. So you'd have to bring your own table. We're also looking for vendors. We have a meeting tomorrow about this. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. Or if you have any neighbors that might want to be interested in the yard sale, you can let me know, and I can get them all the information they need.
If that's it for today, meeting adjourned at 6:40. I thank everyone for showing up.